Hi, and welcome to the San Diego County Community College Football Report with Raymond Brown of stfootball.net. I'm Ramon Scott, bringing you action from week number 4 of the season, Raymond. We're getting into some of the King of the County action we'll talk about this week. We're waiting for, some positive news. I thought we almost had some last week with a thrilling game, but we'll talk about the matchups from last week and preview the games this week. How's it going?
It's going great. A little bit better than last week.
Yeah,
but not by much, but a little better.
Well, it feels like we just have a little bit more to talk about. I think that's what makes us happy about it, because we're really just here to, talk about as many names, about as many guys, and get them some highlights and stuff about what we see out in the JC football beat. So we're going to talk about the games, recap them here a little bit. 2 of our county teams met up last week. That's always a good place to start. It wasn't great for the Griffins, though, as they took on Mesa. I don't know. I think we were kind of saying it was going to be about a 42. It felt like we were saying it was going to be a 42-point game. I think the spread was 42, Raymond.
If it was, they got it about right. Oh, wow. Yeah. Decisive win for Mesa. I remember years ago when this score would be reversed. So it's just funny how tables turn. But decisive win for Mesa. James Odom, former Grossmont guy, 10 for 18, 130 yards and a touchdown. Richie Colmenero got in on some action, former St. Augustine / Eastlake player, 2 touchdowns for him. Tavion Tate ran the ball well on the ground, 33 yards and a touchdown. And Santiago Salas, 31 yards and a touchdown. So those were the numbers for Mesa. And they've rolled to a win, a much-needed win for them to get back on track after taking a tough loss at home last week.
Yeah, never really in question, certainly in this one. It was 28-3 at halftime. John Butcher had a field goal for Grossmont's points, but that was kind of the sidebar for me in this one, Raymond. You had basically 2 pretty good Grossmont high school quarterbacks going. Yeah, you had Trenton Giles for the Griffins, and you had Jamie Odom for Mesa. And statistically, Odom was far more effective with his 10 of 18 performance for just 130 yards and a touchdown. And you mentioned sharing the time with Colmenero, but Giles pretty much saw all the action in this one. And unfortunately, he was intercepted 4 times. He did throw for 210 yards. We'll mention in the game, Elijah Gooden-Dotton had 4 receptions for 40 yards. He's the Griffins' leading receiver this season. I thought the most interesting thing to me in the box score was the appearance of Cal L. Gordon for the Griffins. He carried 7 times for 23 yards, but it's good to see the former Brave great, definitely, I think I can call him that, in the lineup for the Griffins and carrying the ball. He had a team high 7 carries. Well, Giles also had 7 carries, but out of the running backs, it was Cal L. Gordon. So a little bit of a good start for Cal L. Gordon. I'm not saying 7 for 23. He's not going to go home and say, but had to feel good to get out there. Cal L. Gordon feels like a guy who might be the Grossmont running back in the future, moving forward this season and maybe next year as well. So that was
good to see that he's still playing.
Yeah, that was cool.
Great player at ACV.
Yeah, so one-sided, no doubt about it, but you mentioned it, and yeah, it was Odom. That's a big deal to see him go out there. Kind of feels like the one that got away a little bit for Grossmont. Odom originally, Raymond had gone to Riverside and then ended up at Mesa. So, okay, Mesa with the big win. We'll preview this week's games as well in a moment. All right, Raymond. This might be the county game of the year. Maybe no game in the county. We'll see. Maybe when Mesa plays Palomar, what'll happen? But it just felt like, speaking of the one that got away, right? Palomar they had a lead late, man. They trailed, they fought back in the middle of the game, took the lead. This was a thrilling game. It was hard to see that camera. Appreciate that camera. It was a really good game, and a little hard to watch, but I was watching it for sure because it was an exciting game. And Riverside, Palomar covered the spread in this one. Great job by Palomar, but they've got to feel like it got away from them. They couldn't get anything going actually in the fourth quarter. As far as as well as they were playing offensively, Riverside buttoned up a little bit late and got the 2 touchdowns in the fourth. Palomar actually scored early in the fourth quarter, but Riverside got 2 more touchdowns in the fourth quarter to overtake them.
Yeah, man. Disappointing loss for Palomar, but great running by DeMarcus Carr. He ran the ball great, 14 attempts for 90 yards and a touchdown. He had a 65-yard touchdown to the house. He looked great. Palomar was up 44-31 early in the fourth quarter, but 2 unanswered touchdowns by Riverside put it away. Riverside is a great team, and they're one of the best in Southern Cal. They're coached by former Aztec Tom Kraft, I believe. He's been running that program for a while and doing a great job. But man, this one was tough. Palomar had many chances to pull off the big upset, but they just couldn't last. And Riverside pulled it off. And they're 4-0.
Yeah, Clay Omohundro, 322 yards and 3 touchdowns. Had I want to say 3 receivers with 100 yards. Jake Whitehead actually had 96 yards receiving, but Amari Derby from here in Las Vegas, Raymond, he had 3 catches for 103 yards and 2 touchdowns. Product from where I'm at currently, but I'm following the scene, watching these games here. Loving my San Diego action. So Kyrie Scholes also had 100 yards receiving and a touchdown for Palomar. We'll mention, Raymond, you see the 2-point loss there. Palomar did miss a pair of extra points in this game. So that's a margin of victory there, if you will, right there. So just a wild game. Great job by Palomar. I'm sure they're disappointed. 1-3 doesn't feel good, especially when you had a chance to make some noise and knock off Riverside here. and quite frankly, they should have. That was too bad. But nonetheless, great game. We'll see more of the comments coming up immediately. All right, one more. I've got I don't know. Did you look it up? Did you got anything for me?
53-3. That's all I got. Yeah, this was a decisive win for Saddleback.
Right.
The former Monte Vista star, Alex Wojcik, he had 101 yards, but unfortunately threw an interception. Raymond Flores was okay on the ground, 15 carries for 77 yards for him. Javon Young, 7 catches for 66 yards, but it was all Saddleback. 4 touchdowns for Trey Kukoc for Saddleback. And I don't know what's going on with Southwestern, man. They still looking for that first win of the season. But
I'll clean it up here if I can. Luis Lopez, a 34-yarder for the field goal. Andrew Sola had an interception. So tough roll there for Southwestern. They'll get their chance this week. All right, and there's 3 games this week, Raymond, and I'm sure you're interested in them as well. Mostly because we didn't have one more game. We'll start with our local matchup here this week. We have one King of the County matchup this week, and it's going to be Grossmont and Palomar. This one doesn't feel too great for the Griffins either, considering Palomar just had a pretty great performance. So tough one to go on the road here and take on Palomar. Palomar probably going to be favored by at least 4 touchdowns here, if not more.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Grossmont got to be somebody's bounce back win again. But that's what it looked like it's going to happen. I know Palomar wants to get back on track. They got a losing record. They're 1-3. They lost a disappointing one against one of the top teams in the state. So yeah, I feel bad for Grossmont. They're look like they walking into a buzzsaw. But anything can happen, man. Just go in there, play a great game, control the clock. We might see an upset, but I wouldn't bet on it. Got Palomar by like 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, for sure. Right now, Palomar, I think better than their 1-3 record indicates. I think that's safe to say. Okay, this is the best game of the day for sure out of our 3 games. This will be really good. I don't know who's favored to win this one, actually. I guess Mesa could go in there and win. I feel like they're probably a field goal underdog in this one. Maybe a little bit more. A little bit of disappointment in a couple of Mesa games, certainly, but they've made up for it as well. So this one's going to be close, though, for sure. I feel like Saddleback is, no more than a touchdown favorite here, and Mesa can win this game.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know, Saddleback just coming off a 53-3 win over Southwestern. I guess that's their warm-up game for this one. I don't think it's going to have the same result. I hope Mesa can go to Saddleback and get a close win. Seems like it's going to be a really great back-and-forth game. And let's see if Mesa can hang in there.
And finally, I've got one more here for you, Raymond. And, all I can say, at least Fullerton's not kind of the same Fullerton anymore, but they're still Fullerton. They're coming to take on Southwestern, and Fullerton probably 5 touchdowns or more favorites here in this one, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't have much on this. I hope Southwestern can get a win and turn their season around, but it's not looking good. I think Fullerton got this.
All right. Well, I appreciate you this week, Raymond, just going over the games, recapping them as well. We want to keep everybody informed on the local JC scene. If they're not following it already, Raymond and I will be here with you every week for a few minutes to give you the scores and the highlights and let you know what's going on with the 4 teams in San Diego County Community College football. Thanks a lot, Raymond.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Catch you again next week with the San Diego Community College Football Report.